Chapter 4. I searched through my games. I didn't feel like playing most of them. I kept going through them one by one until I found the new Call of Duty game that I've traded Majora's Mask for. I decided to play it and at least get to where I had last left off. I slipped this into the game and waited for it to open up. As soon as I did, I started playing. About 5 minutes into the game, it started to go a little funny. Then it went completely black. "No!" I yelled. "Not another one! What's with these Call of Duty games?" No sooner had I said that, I saw something appear on my screen. It was Ben, but he looked slightly more creepy than he did when I saw him through his webcam. I expected him to yell, say some hurtful things, and then just kill me. But he just stood there on the screen, giving me an "I know what you did, but was kind of impressive" look. I stood up, staring back at him. I wondered if he could hear me, so I said nothing. I didn't know what to say, anyway, and I guess I can't read people's minds through screens. "You're the one who hacked into my computer," he said, more of a statement than a question. I didn't know what to say, and my feet seemed like the most interesting thing in the world now. "I didn't know it was yours," I added. He raises his eyebrow and gives a slight smile. "But it's difficult to manage to get in my computer." "You're pretty good." My eyes looked from my shoes into his red orbs. "I thought you only appeared through Majora's Mask," I said, ignoring his last comment. "I did, but you returned it, so I had to find another way," he said, his voice making my heart beat faster with every word he spoke. "How did you know I traded it in?" I asked. He gave a small cackle, followed by a light shrug. "Okay," I said. "Look, if I bothered you, then I'm sorry. I was hacking random computers, and it just happened to be yours. I won't do it again. Now, do you mind so I can continue my game now?" I was trying to sound as polite as I could, but I wasn't doing a very good job. He pretended to look behind him. "Fine, but I'll still be in touch. And don't you think of beating my high score." He had a grin on his face. Then the screen went back to normal. I exhaled softly. I couldn't care less about his high score, but I was relieved he didn't want to kill me. You didn't have to be telepathic to notice that. He wasn't trying to scare me as much as his victims, but I wasn't scared anyway. Likely that he was impressed by my hacking abilities, and something told me that he knew about the other abilities as well. I sat back down on the bedroom floor, processing what he had said to me. "I'll still be in touch." When was he going to pop? What? He was going to pop into my other video games? No way. All I wanted was a bit of game time. I'm sure he could understand that, being the video game freak he is. I stood up again and exited my room. I felt like putting some distance between me and my TV. "Lana," I called from the other side of her door. Come on in, Sky," I heard her say. I slowly pushed the door open and peered through. She had taken off her headphones and was waiting for me to sit next to her. She patted space beside her, and I sat, my mind somewhere else completely. She must have noticed my expression. "Sky," she said, "what's going on? You've been acting weird lately." I started to tell her the whole story about the telepathy, Ben, the Majora's Mask, telekinesis, and everything else. She watched me speak like I was insane. "What? But how?" she stuttered. "I don't know," I said. "Please, Lana, you have to believe me." "Maybe I should tell her. She has the right to know." Lana's voice spoke inside my head. I raised my eyebrows. "Have the right to know what?" Her already wide eyes widened even more. "You can read minds." "You can read minds. Well, there's a reason you can do these things, Sky," she began. It was a long time ago, but our mother, she's one of them." "Well, that explains a lot. My mother? A creepypasta?" "What about Dad?" I asked. She shook her head. "He's not our real father. He's our stepfather." "So who's our real father?" I asked. "I don't know," she said, tears forming in her eyes. "Mom told me she'd tell me when I was older, but she died, so. But then how come you can't do the things I can do? I asked. I thought maybe I was asking too many questions, but I needed to know. My family was totally messed up. She shrugged. I guess I just didn't inherit that stuff. I'm not too sad about it, though. Dad was a creepypasta, too. You inherited all of it. What else can I do? I asked. I'm not sure. Well, now we know you can read minds and move things. I can tell you that you can teleport. Mom was good with force fields as well. This is so cool, I said. Yeah, she said, smiling. There's one more thing, Sky. Have you ever seen yourself cry? I think back. Actually, I've never really seen my face while I cry, and I never cried too often. It was strange with such a father. I cried, of course, but not too often, and I've never seen my tears. No, I answered. But why? What's wrong with my crying? She waved it off. Oh, it's nothing. You'll know soon enough. Now, go away. I need to get ready. I'm going to meet some friends. Okay, I said, shuffling off my bed. Have fun. I smirked. She shoved me slightly, causing me to giggle. As I turned to leave, she grabbed my arm. And Sky? I turned around, waiting for her to say what she had to say. Ben won't hurt you. I closed my eyes tightly as I reached for the tiny flame. The candle was so small, but it was the only one I could find. I opened my eyes and forced my finger into the flame. I removed my hand, taking the heat with me. The candle was now stripped of the flame, which was now resting on my finger. I stared at it, surprised I wasn't being hurt. But I guess it was another thing I inherited. I turned my head around, watching the flame move from the tip of one finger to another. I loved doing that. It was calming. The flame felt soft. I couldn't explain it. It was weightless, yet it felt comfortable, hugging onto my finger like it did. I smiled and blew it out, leaving me laying in bed, watching the trees cast shadows into my walls. 3 months later. It had been 3 months since I'd seen Ben, and I think we both heard the news at the same time, that I was one of his own kind. That also, I concluded, my father could have been a murderer, and that I was, in fact, immortal. It scared me at first, but I got used to it. I hadn't seen Ben since he popped into my Call of Duty game, and I had admitted I was disappointed that, even though he said he'd keep in touch, he didn't. I was thinking about it when I almost crashed into my front door. It had been 5 weeks since my stepfather died. He had a he had a liver problem. Me and Lana both knew that alcohol would lead him to his death, but we moved on easily. Me and Lana now have the house to ourselves, and luckily a huge inheritance from her parents and stepfather. Lana had a job as well. I had a part-time one at the store. Chaz is also helping out, giving us money every month, along with our grandparents who gave us money, and also left us a fortune in their will. I took out my keys and entered the house, leaving my bag on the couch in the living room. I opened the fridge, looking for some leftovers to nibble on. Sorry. When I noticed something on the table, a video game, a familiar video game, I picked it up and read the front. Lana definitely didn't give me this game, but someone had to have left it. It was Majora's Mask. I gasped. I gasped, knowing this was a bad habit I had to stop. Lana knew exactly why I didn't want Majora's Mask at the time, and as much as I missed Ben, for some reason I forgot all about the game. I picked up the game happily. It was fully wrapped, just like the day I traded it in. I shot upstairs to my bedroom and slipped it inside the game system again. Not really to my surprise, I found Ben's save file. I decided to press it. The game started, but I didn't play. I just made the character stand still. I didn't want to play. It was Ben I wanted to talk to. I waited for something to happen. It usually did happen when you wanted to play the actual game. But when I wanted to see Ben, no, the game works fine. I couldn't take any more waiting. Ben? I called softly. The screen remained the same. I shrugged and picked up the controller, starting to play. Okay, okay, fine, I heard a voice as the screen started to go black, with its appearance on the screen again. Before I could say anything, the figure that was staring at me from the TV screen a moment ago was right in front of me, our faces inches apart. Ben took hold of my hand softly, and before I could ask to what he was doing, I found myself being transported to another place completely. I found us both standing in the woods, my stomach a little nauseous since it was my first time traveling in that, well, odd manner. "Sky," Ben began, "you're one of us, so I think it's time for you to meet the rest of the family." Chapter 5. I followed him through what I supposed to be Slenderwoods. He looked just like Link from Zelda, but I thought it was quite silly to compare him to a video game character that you can't even see clearly. The sky was different to how it was in my hometown. It was it was a sort of dark daylight. We neared a large mansion. I was sure that people would be scared of it with the whole creepypasta stuff, but I thought it was beautiful. It was the perfect home for them. Ben, even though he was still in my hand, turned around to make sure I was still there. "What did you think you were holding on to? A rubber hand?" He just laughed. "Maybe. Okay, here we go." The mansion was now right in front of us. I couldn't wait to get inside, but I kept my excitement bottled up. He led me to the front door, which was opened by the tall, faceless man with the tux. "Then I see you have found the girl," he said, holding the door open wider. "Slendy, this is Sky. Sky, this is Slendy," said Ben. Slendy reached out his hand and I shook it. "Nice to meet you," I said. Well, at least Slendy was pleased with me. I couldn't help but read his thoughts. He led us into the mansion, and I couldn't stop gaping in amazement. Ben just looked at me amusingly. "Like it?" he said. "It's beautiful," I said. He laughed and showed me the living room, where Jeff the Killer, Sally, Masky, Higgy, Jack, and Smile all sat, each busy with different things, but when we entered the room they all turned to stare at us. "Guys, this is Sky," said Ben. "You know them, right?" They still introduced themselves. Sally came up to me, holding her teddy bear in her arms tightly. "You're pretty," she said. I got on my knees so I could reach her height, and pinched her cheek softly. "Thank you," I said. "You're beautiful." She giggled and ran to the couch, whispering something to Charlie. Was it? Suddenly I found two boys popping in front of me. Ben rolled his eyes playfully. "This is Masky and Hoodie," he said, gesturing to the boys, one wearing a mask and one wearing a yellow hoodie, his face completely hidden in blackness, but his eyes and mouth were still showing bright red. "I'm Jack," said eyeless Jack, coming over to me. "Can I have your kidneys?" I eyed him carefully. "As soon as I'm done with them, they're all yours." His hidden face lit up, and I saw almost everyone rolling their eyes at him. What a weird bunch, I thought. Somebody guided me out of the room. "Why don't you stay here for a couple of days? Get to know everyone better. Maybe improve your skills as a creepypasta?" I was ecstatic about the suggestion, and I had nothing to worry about. I mean, I could probably take time off from my job. I could easily let Lana know where I was. I had no parents to worry about me and call me every single hour. What was I waiting for? "But is it okay with everyone else?" I asked. "Of course. We'd love if you stayed for a while," said Masky, coming over to the both of us, putting his hand around my waist. Rudy came up from behind him, hitting the back of his head. "Well, if it's okay with you, then yes, I'd love to." "Wonderful. Your sister will suggest that we teach you a few things you must know," said Slendy. "Oh, our sister knows I'm here? That's good," I said. "Yes, we will start tomorrow. Today you can simply make yourself at home. Ben can show you your room now if you want to freshen up," he said. please," I said, careful to mind my speech around Slendy. I heard a voice from the top of the stairs. "Well, come on then called. I followed them up, where there was a lovely room, old-fashioned, but I loved it. "Wow, this is perfect," I said, pressing my hand down on the pillows and running them over the soft sheets. "Oh, good. Well, we're downstairs when you're ready to come," he said. "Ben," I called after him. He turned around. "Hmm? Thank you so much," I said, stepping forward and embracing him in a hug. I saw his face turn a little pinkish. "No problem, Sky." He turned again and went downstairs. I shut the door behind him and locked it carefully. I turned around and was surprised to find some of my luggage at the end of the bed. Lana, that girl was going to kill me from kindness. I opened the closet, deciding not to unpack yet, and placed the bags inside. I looked around the room and lay down in the bed. It was so soft. I walked into the bathroom. The whole room was perfect. I loved the bed, carpets, walls, even the window. I fixed my hair and the tiny bit of makeup I had on. I wasn't a big fan of this stuff, and I never wore a lot. As I was going downstairs, someone called my name from a room. It was Jeff. "Jeff?" I said, quickly, my face on the stairs to talk to him. "Yeah, I wanted to say sorry for being unfriendly earlier. I didn't really know what to say," he said. "Wait, was Jeff apologizing to me? That was just unheard of." "So I forced you to apologize, didn't I?" I asked. He chuckled. "No, I just didn't want to come off as nasty, especially to a fellow creepypasta. Slendy wants me to watch my manners a little." His gaze turned to the wall next to him. I smiled at the floor. "Thanks, and it's okay. I understand. I get that sometimes." He nodded and went to the living room. "So, did you like the room?" I heard Slendy ask as he popped up from behind me. "Oh my, you scared me." "And yes, the room is beautiful. Thank you," I said. "You're welcome, child," he answered. I returned to the living room where Masky, Kitty, and Ben were playing video games. "Hey, Sky, wanna play?" Masky asked, patting a space beside him for me to sit. "No way, she's mine," Hoodie argued. "Sit with me." "Would you two shut up? She's mine!" Ben snapped, finally shutting them up. I smiled and sat next to him, taking the controller he was holding out to me. Ben turned around and stuck his tongue out at Masky and Hoodie. "See? I told you she was mine." "See? I told you she was mine," Hoodie mimicked from the couch behind us. Ben turned around, giving him a glare. "Okay, game!" I said, hoping to break the awkward silence. We started the game and we began playing. "Aw, Ben, you got another video game addict. That's so cute," I heard Jack saying from behind us all while we were playing. Ben started to blush and everyone began to laugh. I frowned, feeling bad for him. I knew how embarrassing it was, with all the oohs and all coming from the others. "Will you guys just shush already? Can't you see he's uncomfortable? Just leave it already," I snapped, and they all fell quiet. We played video games until it was time for us to turn in. Of course, it took Slendy a while before he had to snatch the controls out of Muskie and Henry's hands and force them into their rooms. "Night, Sky," Jack called happily. Muskie started laughing. "Night, Sky," he said. "I like what you did there." I just chuckled and headed up to my room. Good night to everyone first. I lay in my bed thinking about how great a day it had been. Technically, it wasn't a day, but it was fun. It was fun. I couldn't wait till morning, when I could actually start learning something. I wasn't really tired, since I had woken up quite late this morning, so I decided to practice my telekinesis a little. nothing wrong with preparing for tomorrow. I was in the process of levitating my bed cover when a lock on the door startled me, and the cover dropped to the ground. "Sky, are you still awake?" I heard Ben ask from the other side of the room. Yes, but even if it hadn't been, I still would have woken up, I thought. I opened the door and he was holding some towels for me. "Oh, yeah, thanks, I needed these," I said, taking the towels from him. "Sure thing. Sky, why is your bed cover on the floor?" he asked, confused. I didn't really know what to say. I didn't think he knew about my telekinesis. No, he didn't. I used my telepathy to find that out. "I have no believable excuse," I confessed. He just chuckled. "Just tell me the truth," he said. I nodded and stared at his forest-green hat, which slowly started to lift up in the air like the glass at Meredith's house. Ben slowly followed my gaze up to his hat, raising his eyebrow and pulled his hands to pull it onto his head again. I lifted it up again, faster this time. He pulled it down for a second time and started laughing. I loved his laugh. It was so natural. Stupid description, I know, but that's what it was. Attractive. To me. "Wow, you're gonna be a really good creepypasta," he said. "Thanks," I replied. Ben's point of view. "Thanks," she said shyly, staring at the floor. I hated when she did that. I couldn't see her beautiful face. I suddenly remembered something I wanted to tell her. No, not that. I wanted to apologize about her father. I knew he died about 3 months ago, but this is the time I've talked to Sky since I confronted her about her hacking my computer. I was impressed, not angry. She was definitely a keeper. "You don't have to apologize about my father's death, by the way," she said. Before I managed to utter a word, I looked at her strangely. She simply smiled. "How did you know I was going to say that?" I asked. She shrugged and cocked her head to the side. I loved when she did that. I'm kind of telepathic," she said. I could tell she thought I was going to believe her, but I did. She then giggled. "You think I'm pretty," she said. That just proved she was reading my mind. "Yes, because you are, and because it was the only thing I could think of to test if you really could read my mind. You passed," I said. She smiled. "But I'm not. No one except my family and my very close friends have ever told me that I'm pretty. And now I'm here and everyone is complimenting me. You, Masky." I raised my eyebrows. "Masky?" I said, knowing he was usually quite hostile in the presence of other people, and complimenting Sky was a little strange for him. She nodded. I couldn't believe how bad her self-image was. She was gorgeous. She had long, very dark brown hair, very dark eyes, tan skin, and a beautiful smile. And her laugh drove me absolutely insane. I looked around and found us both sitting on her bed. "Well then, well, people probably didn't compliment you as much because they were jealous. You're gorgeous," I said. "I can't believe I let that slip out. Take it back, Ben." "Oh, shut up. There's no way to take it back." "Thanks," she said, blushing. I smiled. At least I succeeded in something. "And I'm really sorry about your father," I said. "It's okay," she said. "He never really cared about us. And after my mother died, all hell broke loose. He went out and got drunk almost every other night. Sometimes he would try and beat us up. We would never let it happen. Once he told us he was going on a work trip. But guess where he went? To Las Vegas. To casinos, to strip clubs." I frowned and pursed my lips to the side, thinking about what she had just said. "It wasn't his fault, though," she continued. He wasn't raised right. I feel sorry for him. He didn't deserve it. Me and Lana agreed we were going to try and help him. We never could. He doesn't deserve this." I saw tears starting to form in her eyes. "But wait, what?" "Sky," I said. Your cheers!" Sky's point of view. I wiped my tears with the palm of my hand, only to find my skin stained red. Was that what Lana was trying to say when she talked about me crying? I stood and rushed to the bathroom, looking into the mirror. Blood trickled down my cheeks with every tear that fell. I I cried blood? I exclaimed. What else can you do? He asked. Well, I began as I washed my face. Lana said I could teleport. I guess Cindy will show me that tomorrow. And I might be able to do some stuff with force fields. I'm not sure, though. I watched until the blood was gone. Surprisingly, my eyes weren't stained with blood. They were just normal pink eyes people get when they cry. I sat back down in the bed, then touching my back slightly. That's nice. You sure you're okay? He said. I nodded. Ben, did anyone here know my father? My real father? I asked. Ben thought for a moment. I think Slindy met him a couple of times. Is it true he was a killer? I asked. Ben signed. Well, not really as much as Jeff, for instance, but yes. Why do you ask, though? No reason. I just wanted to confirm my suspicions, I answered. Does it bother you? I shook my head. Not really. All right. All right, said Ben. You probably should get some sleep. I'll see you in the morning. I wanted to stop him and tell him instead, but I knew I couldn't do that. He slowly got up and made his way to the door. Night, Sky, he said with a smirk. Good night, then, I said, shutting the door. I did wish he would stay, but anyway, I lay down in the bed and soon drifted off into a calm and deep sleep. I woke up the next morning to the smell of breakfast. I hadn't thought about food in days. I got up and went to the bathroom, gave my face a quick wash, brushed my teeth, and tied my hair into a high ponytail. Morning, Sky, I heard someone say as I walked into the kitchen. Miss P was helping Slendy with breakfast. I had never been introduced to her. Hello, I'm Mrs. P. You're Sky, the new creepypasta, right? She said kindly, holding out her hand. I shook it. She seemed nice enough. She had long black silky hair, with a long neck and fair skin. I smiled. My mother always told me a long neck was a sign of beauty, but since she was a creepypasta, I don't think that applied. Yeah, I am. It's nice to meet you, I replied. It's nice to meet you, too. Ben's been going on about you for the past 3 months. Ben, she said. Ben, who was sitting at the table next to Jack, put his face in his hands. Will someone please give me a break? He said. Jack just laughed, pinching his cheek like a 2-year-old. That's sweet, I said as I heard the doorbell ring. Slendy, who was making breakfast, left to answer the door, leaving Mrs. P having to take over the hungry table of people. Well, welcome to our family. Thanks, I said, taking the only free seat between Jack and Jeff. What's that? Jeff said, lifting up a piece of my hair, revealing some neon blue highlights. That's called blue, said Jack sarcastically. Jeff glared at him and went back to playing with my hair. Were you born with it like that? Were you born with it like that? Sally asked. No, I said. It's hair dye. Mrs. P placed the food in front of Jeff, who thankfully let go of my hair. Slendy came into the kitchen again. Sky, your sister is here to see you, he said. I stood and went to the living room, where Lana was waiting for me. Lana, I said, wrapping my arms around her. Hey, Sky, she said. So, do you love it here or what? I love it here, I said. It's great. And how's Ben? She said cheekily. I rolled my eyes but smiled nevertheless. He's been really sweet. Good. Anyway, I came to tell you some news, she said, her face suddenly turning serious. Good news or bad news? I asked. She shook her head. It's not good. What is it? She sighed. It's about Meredith.